Welcome back to Banished, everybody. My name is Baer. Thank you so much for joining me again here for episode 4 of our continuation in trying to build up the glorious town society of Baerstatska. Of course, last time when we left off, we were left with kind of a conundrum, trying to decide what would be the most important building between the marketplace, or not sorry, the trading post, and the town hall. I believe I've made my decision here now. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the production on the town hall for now and begin construction on the trading post. And of course, we're only about 30 or so stone away from actually beginning construction of the town hall proper, and that would be a very good thing to finish off. But at the same time, we're very low on every resource that is necessary for building things, most notably among them being the stone and the iron. The log is in decent enough supply, but we are going to have to unfortunately send one of our laborers and or other townsfolk back to the woodcutter's hut at some point here. In fact, it might be right the hell now. We're gonna go ahead and take a fisherman out, resume work on the woodcutter's lodge again, and get some more fuel to get through this winter season, because it will consume that firewood very quickly. I mean, luckily, as I've mentioned before, we do have the marketplace, which is acting as a sort of gathering place for all of our resources to allow them to be equally dispersed amongst our township folk. But it is also good to have a surplus of that particular resource, because it can run high and dry before you know it. Another thing people have pointed out, it is something that I thought I had acknowledged, but I apparently did not. It's something I do realize, and I'm kind of making a trade-off in this sense. The mine and the quarry do create a little bit of unhappiness when they're too close to your place, or too close to your houses, too close to where your people are living and thriving and working elsewhere. And while that is factual, I am kind of just accepting it as the negative side effect of allowing the mine and the quarry workers to quickly drop off their excess resources to either the stockpile or just the market itself. And I think that balance is to my advantage. As you can see, we're still in the 5-star happiness level. We have quite a few things that are generating a variety of happiness sources, not the least of which being the variety of food that we're generating for the people in Baerstatska. So I think we're okay in that respect. Of course, we've met our maximum amount of food. We did that last time, so we had to raise that up for the gatherer's hut, for the hunting lodge, and for the fishing dock. Although I believe, actually, let's have a look at this. I'm wondering if just changing it for them changes it. Yeah, it does change it for every single food generation source. Good. Good to know that. But yes, our stockpile of resources is very, very low. We sent some workers, some laborers off to gather the stuff over here. Unfortunately, we've pretty much run out of stone, run out of iron to gather in this particular area as well. We've got a little bit maybe left over that we could probably try to grab. Might as well do that and grab some extra iron, as well as we've got some over there that we could send one of the laborers off to. Our nice little squiggly road. We get to see them. Oh, it's just adorable, isn't it? Ulysio, the 23-year-old builder, picking up some resources. Very happy, as is Dwighton. And, oh, let me click it. Let me click it. I got you. Ah, damn it. I had it. Ah, God, it's so fast. There we go. Faro's picking up some resources as well, so there we go. I have a little bit of extra to go toward the construction of the trading post, and at that point, I'll be able to trade some of our excess food and our excess, we actually have some extra hide jackets here as well we can trade off. But we're going to want to create some more firewood as well. Anything with a decent value that we could trade off to through the trading post is going to be very helpful for us. We did use all the logs necessary to begin that construction. Our log supply is not as high as I'd like it to be, but it is staying at a decent rate. We'll be able to actually see what the production is compared to the consumption levels as soon as we finish off this town hall, so that's going to be very helpful once we get that going. Of course, as I mentioned before, the supply of actual people is kind of running low as well, so that may be another thing we look into fixing up very, very soon here. And of course, I don't really want to build homes right adjacent to the quarry here. That would be kind of pushing my luck as far as the effect on my happiness is concerned. So I'm looking into expanding in the opposite direction. That may very well even be along our diagonal road here, and I'm starting to think that that wasn't the greatest idea. I'm going to go ahead and remove this road and instead place down a, let's see, yep, that's the remove road tool. I'm going to place down a regular old, like one road this way, the other road going all the way up to the end of this island here, this inlet rather, and allow us to expand properly as opposed to, you know, like having some kind of weird diagonal housing pattern, which, yeah, it could be nice for a change of pace, but I'd like to stick to the normal regiment for now and probably expand in abnormal ways later on. So we'll go ahead and construct this road out this way. Luckily, the removal of the dirt road isn't something that takes particularly long, and we'll be able to go up like that and hopefully actually build some more homes over here in this area at some point. Of course, the construction of the trading post is still our biggest concern. I am looking into the possibility of just assigning our laborers and builders to gather the quarry and mine production in order to get us higher up in that area. What we could also consider doing is trying to build a quick bridge over this way to allow us access to this massive pile of iron and stone down here. This is actually quite a bit, and I'm looking at that, thinking it's more than likely the best option. So let's go ahead and try to do that. We'll build our dirt road, our diet road, the road of dieting. That is not a road I'd prefer to travel down. Wooden bridge all the way across. That is likely not to take up too many resources, and we'll go ahead and pause construction of the trading post and divert all of our attention to completing this bridge, hopefully sending a couple more laborers to gather this excess iron and stone down here, and hopefully allow us to continue construction, continue expansion, and move forward with our progress. Of course, we still have an extreme surplus of food. A child named Gerhardy. Gerhardy was born. Gerhardy born in the summer of 6. The summer of 6. That's a true ancient lore. Oh man, you hear Grandpa telling stories about 1925. Gerhardy born in 6. That is ancient history, my friend. Truly deserving of the old-timer speak. What do we got going on here? I keep looking at this like this is a weird farm, but it is a stockpile and I'm a lunatic. Oh, man. So we are grabbing a few stones from the quarry, thankfully. Fortunately, as I mentioned, it is not generating... It's hardly worth its weight in what we paid for it, unless we manage to get, like I said, 9 or 10 people down there trying to excavate resources, but unfortunately we do not have the people necessary for that. But I am planning on putting down... Let's go ahead and actually lay out these plots. We will put down the plots for these 2 wooden houses here. We're going to go ahead and pause construction on those right now, of course. Wait until we have A, finished this bridge, and maybe even B, finished the trading post. But the growth of children and students into adults is hopefully going to take place soon, and that reminds me of another thing that I should be paying attention to. That is the age of my oldest dwellers, and that is looking like an average of about 40 here. So we're probably going to get a good 1 or 2 more years out of these laborers before they start dying off of old age, which is okay by me. I assume that we're going to be able to start expanding at a rate that is going to replace these workers sooner than they're dying off. But speaking of them dying off, something that we are going to have to concern ourselves with at some point when they start becoming, you know, around 60 or 70 years of age, is building ourselves a cemetery plot. And I'm actually looking at this right here as a potential site for that, if I can remember where it is that we actually find the cemetery. There it is. Cemetery prevents citizens, rather, from becoming sad when their elders die. If we can do something like this, the cemetery could help us out quite a bit. That's not going to provide very many plots for the cemetery for gravestones, but it will at least help us out a little bit as far as preventing our citizens from becoming terribly depressed when the old folks start to go. Now it's looking like we only need 1 more stone, and oh man, it is just going to be so wonderful. We finally get that going. We have reached our fuel limit again. I am going to bump that up just a little bit more, up to maybe like 450. Because I'm okay with using the extra logs we have here. I don't suspect that we'll be using a bunch more of them in order to... oh wow, they actually are putting down the resources to these wooden houses already. They did that quite a bit more quickly than I had imagined they would. Just need 1 more stone from the quarry, man. Come on. Please, it's all we need. There it is. She's carrying it. You see it? Right there. She's placing inventory and storage. There it is. The marketplace has that last little bit of stone we need is being taken out right now, I hope. Oh, please tell me somebody's taking some stone over there. They have, yes, they've done it. Taking the last stone to the wooden bridge. We're finally going to be able to travel southward and collect all of that beautiful, beautiful, luscious iron. That is going to be an amazing boon to our growth here. And our town hall can be completed with the stone excess. Oh, this is wonderful. Fantastic. Another little note somebody made mention of, and something that I didn't actually realize myself, is the fact that the herbalist actually requires mature trees. Well, actually, I think I pointed that out, the fact that they require mature trees to be able to generate herbs. But unfortunately, the forester usually is cutting down the mature trees around the herbalist lodge. So I may consider reconstructing that building elsewhere. In fact, there's a good enough place for it down here on the south end, where there's some trees that have yet remain untouched by my human hand. So we may consider doing that at some point in the near future. We now have 2 laborers as a result of Chlorane becoming an adult working as a laborer. She is an educated laborer, actually. So that is fantastic. That was our lone student occupying the school, which I've forgotten where that is. There it is, the schoolhouse. The worker... Who's the worker? Who is working in the schoolhouse? We'd know that if we had the town hall. I keep wanting to go and check things there. Maybe I should construct that. Apparently it's something I really want. And, alright, so now it looks like we finally finished this wooden bridge. We are going to immediately tell our laborers to go collect all the stone and iron that their eyes and ears and hands are the thing you use to carry. There you go. All of that luscious iron. Oh my god, that is just absolutely fantastic. So much goodness coming out of this place right here. Let's just build a massive dirt road out there as well to make it a little bit easier for them to... Holy cow. Look at all these people. Look at all these folks going to help out, working as a team. I should probably take the builders off and make them laborers so they can actually gather resources properly. And, well, you know what? I oughta begin construction of the trading post again. I should build the houses before I build the trading post. I think I really need to start encouraging the growth a lot more than I currently am. So let's go ahead and unpause the production here. I may wish to build a stockpile right here as well. That would make it a lot easier for these guys to build along this way that I've basically established is my newest source of expansion. Of course, the reserve of stone is low because we're immediately using everything we generate here. Oh man, I'd like to get a lot more people, and we are building the buildings that it is necessary to employ people inside of. So we're going to have to look into doing that very, very, very quickly. We are beginning construction on both houses here, so this is fantastic. We need to actually assign a couple builders to begin building the buildings. Builders are needed to build the buildings. I am on Sesame Street, I think. Taylor has run out of sources. He's not going to really need to do anything else. I suppose we're done chopping wood for now, so let's go ahead and stop work on that. We got a few more laborers here. I don't think we need more than 2 builders at this point. These homes should be completed fairly quickly. The beautiful couple of Lambertus and Tinnefred occupy what I believe is our 7th wooden house of Berstatska. Beautiful. The lovely couple Lambertus and Tinnefred. It's kind of names that you wish kind of occupied modern civilization, don't you? Or at least I do, to a degree. I'd like to have a friend named Lambertus. He'd always wear medieval garb. And you'd take him to the bowling alley with you. And he'd just scream as he let the bowling ball fly. He'd scream his own name. He'd be like the Pokemon friend. Lambertus! And then you'd get a strike every time. That's my friend Lambertus. That's the story of Lambertus. Finished with wooden house number 2, occupied by Kendon and Rethany. Fantastic. These are some relatively young people, so I imagine they may be pumping out some kids pretty soon here. Fantastic. We are using a little bit more iron to produce some more iron tools, I believe. As I believe I've said in the past, I like to have double the amount of iron tools as I have citizens, so I am okay with continuing the use of the iron for that purpose over there in the blacksmith. I'm going to go ahead and let the cemetery be built as well, because that's a pretty quick thing. We've got a little bit of an excess of stone now. Well, certainly not an excess, but a decent enough supply to the point where we can consider using our resources to build that up and get that finished so we don't have to worry about it anymore. I assume that's not going to hold as many plots as I'd like it to. In fact, I very well could only be able to hold maybe 10 or 15 gravestones in this particular cemetery. But that'll do for a little while. I don't suspect I'm going to be filling that up with old age victims very soon here. Of course, we stopped production in the Woodcutter's Lodge again. I think I'm going to go ahead and let the herbalist just lay dormant here for now. In fact, let's just stop production in the herbalist lodge. Let's take this guy out, remove him, create a laborer out of that. Cemetery is going to be done very, very quickly, and that means it is time to reconvene construction of the trading post. That sounds like a good plan to me. And of course, we'll want to build the town hall shortly after that, but unfortunately, we again are going to be low on folks. The reserve of stone is low as well because we had to use quite a bit of it to build both the cemetery and the trading post here. Looks like we may be using just about all of it and having to gather more very quickly. Have we gathered all the stone that was down here already? That would be a very bad thing. Let's go ahead and cut up some more. Just mark all this stone that we can see. All that is available to the naked eye. Every little bit of stone you can possibly find is yours for the taking down here on the south side of Berstatska. In fact, everything around here as well. Yes, please, take it all. Take it all. Nobody needs it. Wow, I'm actually kind of sending them very far off. Maybe I didn't want to go that far. I think we'll be okay, though. So as soon as this trading post is done, I am very curious to see at what rate we are capable of expanding here as our two homes are likely to produce more children. In fact, a child named Rigo was just born in the occupancy of Lambertus and Tinifred. The trading post requires a bit more stone that we are, again, running dry on. This is not a very good thing. The iron is being used very quickly as well by the blacksmith. I may cut him off pretty shortly here. Oh, he's reached his tool limit. Oh god. Okay, so let's change that to double our current occupancy of folks, which is 3162. That is our tool limit. As soon as he reaches that tool limit again, I will cut him off. We'll send the blacksmith off to help out, probably with a bit of construction of the town hall and of the trading post. That'll do just fine. Only 9 graves in that cemetery. That's even less than I thought there were initially. Pretty sure this is actually going to negatively impact the happiness of these residents as well, but I think I'm okay with that. Another child was born. A few of our children have become students. We now have 4 students in the schoolhouse, which is fantastic. Gotta love having educated laborers. It's going to be a very beneficial thing to us. Still constructing the trading post. Very, very slowly that production goes along. We get a little bit extra iron here. I'm going to prioritize the gathering of the stone over here, if I can manage to do so. Let's go ahead and select this. And we are going to increase the priority of the work being done in the area of gathering these particular resources right here. In fact, this one as well. I want to make sure those guys are gathering the stone so we can get the trading post done as quickly as humanly possible. Now, as far as other expansions are concerned, I'm trying to figure out what would be suited for construction in that particular little patch of land. I'm thinking about an orchard, although I'm hesitant to do that. Let's see what else we can do here. A pasture would not work well either, I don't think. A tavern actually would be a very good thing to build here. That is a good idea. I'm going to lay the plot down for that. Of course, I'm going to pause the construction of it for this time, but having a tavern there would be a very, very, very good plan. I like that. Oh, no! Dwight the laborer has died of a weak heart. That's not good. Do we need a hospital? We might need a hospital already. That's usually something I don't really consider having to build for a while, but it might be necessary. I don't know if we could have helped him out, but maybe it was worth a try to at least have the available building for it. So we could have a hospital right here next to the cemetery, which is kind of morbidly hilarious. I will put that plot down, though, because I like the idea of it already enough to go for it. Alright, he has reached his construction of tools limit again, which means we're going to cut off the blacksmith's supply for a little while as we continue to try to desperately gather enough stone to complete the construction of the trading post. We are growing quite a bit now. We still have quite the excess of food. I'm going to restart construction on the woodcutter's lodge again. Got 3 laborers, 2 builders, and a freaking great balance of productivity here. I am still very satisfied with what we've got going on. Of course, I'd very much like to begin instilling quite a few more workers in our mine and quarry in order to generate quite a bit of excess of resources from those particular places. I need to build a dirt road right out here just to make this a little bit easier for everybody. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, do we want to do it? It's going to look a little weird, but I'm okay with it. I don't know why I didn't have that dirt road constructed right there already, because it's going to make it just a little bit quicker for the guys coming out of the mine to move their resources back. Yes, we are still gathering here. We finally actually started construction of the trading post, and at some point we're going to bring down a couple of these builders and begin working it so that when the merchants come around, we are able to trade off the excess of resources we do have. You know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to destroy the herbalist's lodge. I am going to remove this particular structure right here, and I'm going to rebuild it somewhere else. It might even be rebuilt in the forest down in our newfound territory where we're gathering plenty of resources. This looks like a good place for us. Let's go ahead and set down the new location for the herbalist right here amongst the mature trees. In fact, let's go ahead and set him a bit deeper. Let's look at the full range of his spectrum here. Maybe even want to set him like way back here. Do I want to do that? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to be okay having him right there. That should be alright. Yeah, he should be able to gather quite a bit. Okay, let's do this. Let's put the herbalist lodge down right there. I'll probably have enough resources to make that happen relatively easily. Trading post is 80% done. I am so excited to finally have that finished. Our supply of tools is looking good. Our supply of coats is actually looking fantastic. Of course, the tailor, as I've said plenty of times, is somebody that just never stops unless I desperately need somebody to go somewhere else to up construction in various places. Now we can look at the crop fields and potentially determine whether or not it is valuable to us to rotate the crops and try to maybe even prevent the outbreak of a. Oh my God, we've already reached our food limit again. That's amazing. Go up to 7,000. Why not? Why do we even have a food limit? Make as much food as you possibly can. We'll trade the excess. Who cares? We want the food, man. Apparently it doesn't go bad, or at least I've never seen it go bad, so that's not really ever going to be a concern for us. Yeah, as I was saying, the rotation of the crops, I think I mentioned in the past that I never really saw much of a benefit to it, but the prevention of the spread of disease could be positively impacted if we chose to do so. But I probably won't worry about it for the time being. Now, we want to maybe look at the possibility of growing an orchard somewhere nearby. The tavern is going to be constructed there. This is almost looking like our cutoff point for the time being, going to the southern end of our initial starting isle. So maybe looking into building an orchard, perhaps even right here in this location, right across from the town hall, wouldn't be so terrible. I wonder if I can actually build one. Who just died? Jalen the fisherman drowned. That's appropriate. Oh, God. All right. Hey, we finally built the trading post. Wonderful. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and put one of our excess laborers in here for now. I always increase the maximum like some kind of silly guy. And, of course, when we have the trading post, that means we are able to take some of the extra stuff we have in the marketplace and in the storage barn and make it available for trade over here to merchants that are passing through. So, for example, we look in the storage barn right now. We can see that we have quite a bit of venison and fish. So I'm going to go ahead and bring over, let's say, let's go like 800 venison, and I believe about 1,000 fish would probably be pretty good as well. No, let's do a little bit less. Let's do 600 fish. So we can do that, and we have that available for trade immediately. We can also, of course, just move things over as we see fit when the merchants are just in dock waiting for us to make a deal with them. I don't really like trading things that we have extra value of in the marketplace because I like to think that those are being used the way they ought to be. Fortunately, our happiness has dived down a little bit here as well. It's looking like we may need to find a way to improve our stature in that manner. I'm going to go ahead and let time roll freely again as I've moved a couple of things over here. I will move some iron tools and hide coats over as well. Certainly not as many as are being moved with the sources of food that we have excess of, but we will do this, and I'm going to have to probably resume. I keep wanting to say resume every time I have this going on, and I also just realized that we do have somebody working in the woodcutter's lodge, so no need to do that. Unfortunately, nobody is working on the demolition of the herbalist right now. I think maybe they are, but it's just taking a little while to do so. Okay. So, of course, we have the construction of the herbalist lodge going on over here. We have our gatherers gathering. Gatherers gather. Gatherers be gathering. That's the meme. That's what I'm looking to say. Not really a meme. We call everything a meme these days, don't we? Let's see. Orchard. That's what I was thinking of doing. Do we want to build that right here? Can we build it right here? The orchard is too small. I think it has to be X by 4, so it doesn't look like that's going to be a proper locale, but we could consider putting one right here. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that very thing. We're going to grow some pecans in the orchard. Very nice. Alright. I like it. I likes it very much. So we've taken away our additional laborer, which means we are going to have to take somebody out of somewhere in order to be able to gather the resources down over here on the southeast end. So let's remove a forester for now. And I think I just kind of have to wait for our students to turn into laborers. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of our older folks to natural causes, quote unquote. But damn. This is, we're waiting for expansion. That's pretty much the name of the game here. We're hoping that folks are going to start growing and things are just going to start changing, and that's going to be where we leave off today in Banished. Thank you guys so much for watching this again. We've managed to deconstruct the what is this called? The herbalist lodge over here, and the herbalist is now going to set himself up in a much better position, I think, down here amongst the mature trees and be able to generate a little bit more medicine for us. Medicine is actually a very valuable commodity to be able to trade over here if you happen to have excess of it to trade with some merchants. So that'll be a very good thing. That'll happen all next time here in Banished. Thanks so much for watching again, guys. I will see you then.